Let's go ahead and just dive right in. You ready?
Sounds solid to me. Let's hit it.
Okay. Hey, darling, welcome back. Boyce here, and today I am beyond excited to bring you something truly special. An interview with my friend JM Clarke, the best-selling author behind Mark of the Fool, which is one of the most beloved progression fantasy series in the genre. Now, if you're not familiar with Jay's work yet, let me fix that real quick. Mark of the Fool started as a web serial on Royal Road where it absolutely exploded. We're talking nearly 10 million views. It's a progression fantasy with D&D vibes, incredible magic systems, and that perfect blend of academy life, strategic problem solving, and characters you genuinely care about. This series has been published by Aethon Books with narration by the legendary Travis Baldry, and it's become a massive hit in the fantasy community. Jay has also written a slew of other novels that we're going to chat about in just a minute. Now, what I love about Jay's work is how he takes familiar fantasy tropes and turns them on their head. His protagonists don't get handed power. They have to think their way through problems, exploit systems in clever ways, and earn every victory through tenacity and wit. It's the kind of writing that respects your intelligence as a reader, which I always appreciate. Now, make sure to stay tuned through the end of the video because I'm going to share some behind-the-scenes bonuses about Jay and his books that you won't want to miss. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into this conversation with the wonderful and amazing JM Clarke. So, do you want us to call you JM?
JM. That's anything like that's just fine. What
Hey
not
you.
J? Yeah.
Hey you
Hey
over
you.
there.
Now there'd be a hilarious pen name. Hey
Hey
you
you over
voice.
there.
Yeah, hey you
Yep.
over there. Perfect.
No
Oh,
one would forget your name,
no,
That's
definitely not.
that's a pro for sure. Okay, so why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? What do you want people to know about you, and do you have any weird quirks?
Well, my name's JM Clarke. I'm a writer because otherwise I wouldn't be here right now. And I wrote and finished a series called Mark of the Fool. I'm writing a series right now. Yeah, yeah. Writing a series right now called Oaths, Blood, and Coin. I'm
Yep.
co-writing another series called Rune Seeker. And I have yet another series on Royal Road called I Am Become Death. So,
That one absolutely slayed when you
y-
launched it. I was like,
yeah.
oh no, we're publishing at the same time. I have no chance.
Well, you did some pretty kick-ass stuff too. What can I say?
Oh,
So
thank
yeah,
you.
you're
Thank you.
very welcome. You're very welcome. What's that thing that Caesar said in Planet of the Apes? Like apes strong together, but authors strong
Authors
together.
strong together.
Oh man, but yeah. So. I'm a writer. Before that, I actually used to be a therapist and
That's so cool.
work with people in like various different ways. And uh, and it was good, but this is this is interesting. I think one thing I would like to people to know is that a lot of what I used to learn and practice in the controlled active therapy actually got infused into a lot of my books. So, for example, a mindfulness practice is heavily built into Mark of the Fool and its power system and stuff like that.
I love it.
Um, and they talk about bringing yourself to anything that you write, anything that you do, and what I wanted to bring was something I found useful for myself. Because one other thing too is that have my own mindfulness practice that I use, meditation and stuff like that, to ground myself every day. And I figure by building that practice into that particular series, not only would it be well suitable to the plot, but it would actually be a technique that would be helpful for others, just as it's helpful to me. So um, that that's one thing. So, if you're reading Mark of the Fool and you see how Alex uses his meditation techniques to deal with the mark, those are actual mindfulness practices, and they can be applied in real life during your everyday to deal with stressful situations. So, yeah,
So cool.
aside from that, I'm just like as normal as anybody else. I game.
You're
I
a
read.
writer. We
I
don't
know.
get to be normal. We're not
That is
normal.
true. That is true. I mean, someone talked about one of my other writing friends the other day. He talked about how he was how's he put it, health maxing. He was like going outside more, exercising and stuff like that. And as he was busy, as he put it, touching grass, his ideas started to slow down. And he was like, "Oh, I'm getting more well adjusted, and my ideas are disappearing." I'm sure, surely that doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, "Oh, we just forcibly hallucinate entire stories for years on end, and then forcibly write them down." I'm sure that's well adjusted. That's something
I,
everybody does.
I don't like, for me, writing is therapy. I've noticed that when I go
Mm.
longer than about a week not writing, even if I'm working on really fun creative projects,
Hmm.
I just, I have more intrusive thoughts. I am a little moodier. So personally, writing, I think, is just a way to process everything for me. And the fact that I write really dark fantasy probably says something about me that I'm not going to dive into right now.
Well, I can get pretty dark myself, so
Yeah.
let's both put a bow on that. Just put a bow
Yeah,
on
we're
that
gonna
for
put that
now.
in a box and put that over there.
Exactly. So yeah, but I think I can sort of hear what you're talking about because I know one technique that a lot of people use to cope with things is journaling. And if you look at it, since writing has to draw from us a little bit, it's in some way, shape, or form journaling down your own feelings and expressing them through the story at that particular time.
Mhm.
So I also find that it can be therapeutic for me as well. Sometimes it can drive me mad, depending on the day, but
Yeah.
but other times it definitely grounds me. And when I go too long without it, yeah, I get a little stir crazy too. I'll put it that way.
For sure.
Yeah.
Uh, so I interrupted you. I apologize. You said that you liked gaming. Is that like board gaming, RPGs? What do you got?
So I got I'm like omni I'm basically like omni when it comes to gaming. Like I do tabletop RPGs, mostly D&D, sometimes some of my own personal systems. Or I and then I play Warhammer 40K, which is a very very complex hobby. Not as much these days because like a single game of that takes like 3 to 4 hours, and what's time? Who has time anymore? What even is that?
Yeah, you got
Um,
books to write.
I know, right? And then there's video games. Like a lot of where I learned to write from comes from certain video games that I played as a kid or that I play even in the modern day. Some of the most interesting storytelling, I think, in our generation comes from interactive media. So.
That's a really good point. And I remember God of War has some
Mhm.
beautiful writing in it. So, I mean, absolutely. There's so many different vehicles for us to absorb stories now. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. So yeah. So that's basically me. Like I also like spend a lot of time with my real life friends. Oh, here's one. You know what? Perfect one. So the same group of friends that I made in university in undergrad, which is now an embarrassingly long time ago, I
Oh,
have
dude,
to
I
this
feel that.
right. I have to this day, and a lot of their characters that they used to play with, that when I used to DM them in university, a lot of their D&D characters actually cameo throughout my books.
That's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them actually have pretty major roles. So a lot of the time, and I ask for permission, of course, but like for those of you who have read Mark of the Fool, like Thundar was used to be one of my D&D characters.
Okay.
Malcolm was a friend of mine. Same with Shiani and Rhea. Yeah, and I'll just name a few there, and the rest you could guess. I might, though I might circle back to another character
Okay.
that y'all might know later. But yeah, so I think, aside from that, I'm just like everybody else. What can I say?
He's being modest.
I'm trying.
So you have four active series going.
Yes. Well,
So,
Mark of the Fool is done, but yeah,
oh,
keep going.
Okay, so Mark of the Fool, I forget, have all of those published?
Yes, except in audio. Travis is working away.
Oh, okay, yeah. Which is so cool that you got him.
I know, right?
Oh, you're so lucky.
Thank you.
All right, are you ready for those fun facts I promised? Here we go. Fun fact number 1. JM Clarke's Mark of the Fool didn't start in traditional publishing. As I mentioned before, it began as a web serial on Royal Road and absolutely took off before being picked up by Aethon Books. Now, what's even cooler is that when it transitioned to Kindle and Audible, Jay completely revised it and relaunched it as a new definitive version. So if you read it on Royal Road years ago, the published books are actually an enhanced experience of that same story you fell in love with. So I definitely recommend you pick it up and read through it again. All right, let's get back to the interview. So I actually have a first look for Mark of the Fool and Rune Seeker, and Oaths is coming up, I believe, next month.
Nice.
So if you guys want to learn more about his stories, if you somehow haven't seen them yet, that's going to be a really great place to start. Shameless plug. Okay, let's continue. So, okay, what is the best headcanon theory that you have ever heard about your work, and why do you like it so much?
So, probably the best headcanon theory that I've heard for my work is someone basically pinpointed that one of the major characters in Mark of the Fool was sort of like an anchor character for another setting. Basically, they'd figured out that I was planning a multiverse before it actually revealed that I was planning a multiverse.
That's great.
Yeah, they like hyper focused. It happened twice. They hyper focused on like two different characters, and they were like, no, this guy has his own story. There's something coming up there and stuff like that. And then that one of them happened to be the main character of Oaths. So that was uncanny. It really, really was. Hope you're a little unfocused there.
Yeah, sorry. So that was uncanny. That
Yeah.
must have been wild.
Yeah, 1000%. Like it felt like for a moment like people were looking at my work in the same way that like remember when we all used to like get those Easter eggs at the end of the Marvel movies and we're like, "Oh, what's that mean? Where are they going with this?" So
Yeah.
it felt like it was my story under that focus, and dear God, that was an incredible feeling.
I
So
bet.
it stuck with
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
That's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun to see the cogs spin in someone's head with regard to your work, because you're like, you're so close, you're so close, you're so close.
Right?
You got this, you got this.
Absolutely. Though sometimes, like when I'm DMing, sometimes people are like, "Oh yes, I'm guessing this headcanon. I'm like this headcanon. This is exactly where the plot's going." And I'm just like listening. I'm like, "Well, it wasn't, but it is now." So
That's sort of the beauty of being a DM. You're this omniscient being in this world that you're creating, and you're like, yeah, that's totally what I was doing.
I am a genius.
All right, popping in here real quick with fun fact number 2. The anti-hero hero is the entire premise of Mark of the Fool. It came from Jay flipping the Chosen One trope completely upside down. Instead of giving his protagonist the Chosen or the Champion mark, he gave him the Fool. Literally the worst divine brand possible, one that actively prevents him from learning combat magic and spellcraft. But here's the brilliant part. Rather than making Alex weak, this limitation forced Jay to write a truly creative magic user, because Alex has to exploit every loophole and think outside the box just to survive. It's a masterclass in how restrictions can actually breed innovation. Okay, back to the interview. So it's going to be kind of hard to answer this question without spoilers, but if you could watch someone's face while they read a specific scene, which scene would you want it to be and why?
Okay. So there's a couple of scenes that come to mind with this, and I'm gonna try and be as vague as possible here. But in Oaths, partway through, there's an event called the Revelation that I like to call the Revelation of the Egg, where like things are going in a certain direction, and then there's a bit of a shift, shall we say, and it kind of changes how the story reads. So I've always wanted to look and see someone's face when they hit that particular scene. It's about halfway through the book, and that's the only thing I'll go into from there.
Okay.
As opposed to, and for Mark of the Fool, there's a certain revelation about a character death in Mark of the Fool, and it's around book 7, 8-ish, and when it happens, the entire story changes.
That's
So,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. It's like my little Kaiser Soze moment from The Usual Suspects. So, yeah, where everything before that just gets shed in a completely new light, and that's
So cool.
that's one where I've always wanted to see someone's face when they get to that part.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
I've had readers tweet me live reactions as they read,
Oh, you're so lucky.
and I'm just like, yes, give me more. This is crack. I need this.
Yes.
It's fantastic. It's such a cool feeling.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you were reading my work, I want you to do that. Please tweet me or message me on Facebook, and I just want like the raw reactions. It's so fun.
And don't forget little old Jay. I wouldn't mind that either.
Absolutely. I'll also give him context because he has so many projects going where he needs to know which
Yes,
book you're
please.
reading.
Please.
So, what is your favorite way to interact with readers? It's a really great segue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I truthfully in person. I
Mhm.
love going to Dragon Con. I love different cons. I
Oh, that
know
was
it
so
is
fun.
so much fun. And I love online communication. Like I've been like using it. God, I've been using it for like 20 years, but there's just something
We're
about
so old.
I know, right? I know. I'm just melting. I'm going to be dust by the end of this interview. But like there's just something about like seeing someone's face, hearing their voice, shaking their hand that like no amount of messaging can ever beat. Just
Yeah.
period, bar none. And whenever I can get down there, it's just an absolute thrill. So, like, seriously, I'm probably going to be at Dragon Con next year, and I'm trying to make it to Lit
Yes.
RPG Con in Denver next year as well. And
Yes.
please come visit me. I just love it. I absolutely love it.
Same. And I went to Lit RPG Con this year and it
Ooh.
was fantastic. I had no idea it was even the first con. I thought it was an established one. It was so smooth. The the only thing that was a little annoying to me was that I really wanted to look at the auction items because they have that charity auction,
Hmm.
and they were setting everything up, and they kept shooing us away. And I'm like, it's right there. I just want to look. I won't bid. I promise. But no, it was like like shoo, cat, shoo.
Oh, that's no fun.
I know.
What good are rules if they're not bent a little bit?
Just a bit. So when you see someone reading your book in public, what do you desperately want to do or say?
So that's a trick answer because I don't see them reading my book in public. So my answer would be, please read my book in public.
You just want to have them reading your book in public.
Oh,
Step one.
absolutely. Yeah. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that yet. And part of that is like a lot of my readers are in the US and I'm up in Canada.
Yeah,
So,
that'll do it.
yeah, absolutely. So, plus, like, it's this one of these things, right? Where, okay, this is again depressing old people shit, but like when was it like the last time, like, you've seen someone reading like a book in public? Like these days, right? It's people read on their phones, people read on their Kindle, which is great, but you can't tell what they're reading.
I
So,
know. And you want to be nosy and be like looking over their shoulder, like, do I recognize that smell?
exactly, exactly. Except that, that's frowned upon, right? They're just bent over their thing, and next to I'm just like creeping up on, oh, what you reading there?
We get to be weird though. That's no, we don't get to creep on people,
No, no,
unfortunately.
no. I was gonna say within reason.
Within
Within
reason, yeah.
reason.
What is the most touching message that you've gotten from a reader?
Okay. I'm going to be a bit vague to protect this reader's privacy, but someone messaged me when I was maybe about halfway through Mark of the Fool. It was on Royal Road, and they basically said that they were at a particularly dark place in their life at the time, and that and that Mark of the Fool was sort of helping them get through the day to day. And I talked with them and stuff like that, and then they, we parted ways, and I kept thinking about them and wondering how they were, but, I always kind of careful with like reaching out because I have this thing where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bother people and stuff like that. Especially, I'm like, okay, you're reading my book. You don't necessarily want me in your DMs being, how you doing, buddy? But either way, so about months go by. Then he messages me again and basically says that he got through that really hard part of his life, and Mark of the Fool helped him so much. It's helped him so much to get through that he and his wife had a discussion, and he named his first son Alex after Mark of the Fool's main character.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet.
I know. I know.
I love that.
If you're out there, I just wanted to say that if you're out there and you're watching this, buddy, then I think about you a lot, think about you all the time, and I hope you, your family, and little Alex are doing so well. So well.
Fun fact number 3. Jay isn't just focused on one series. He's building an entire portfolio of interconnected fantasy worlds. Beyond the Mark of the Fool series, he is co-authoring Rune Seeker by with C.J. Thompson. He has short stories published in prestigious anthologies, and he just launched Oath's Blood and Coin, which is a brand new progression fantasy series featuring a rogue and a demon slayer that's narrated by Michael Kramer. This man is basically creating a whole fantasy universe for us to get lost in, and honestly, I am here for it. All right, back to the interview. So what's a moment in your story, any one of them, that still gives you goosebumps when you think about, writing it or rereading it or revisiting it in any way?
So, I'll pick 2 moments. One from Oaths. Oaths is a bit of a bloody book. And there's just a bit. And there's the final death though in the first book in Oaths itself is something to this day that I've just I love that scene, and I do get goosebumps when I think about it, when I think about what it means, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, so here I am giving these vague non-answers, but like, if I got goosebumps out of it, and I know some others that read the story on Royal Road back in the day got some goosebumps out of it, and I want y'all to experience that yourselves when you get there. And as for Mark of the Fool, Hannah's background. Hannah's background is another moment that gives me goosebumps completely. Oh, and for Rune Seeker, when I add this one in here, I'm going to say when Hiral makes a sacrifice and saves someone by killing them. I'm going to...
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
like
bit.
You do.
Yeah, like you do. It's a bit oxymoronic, but it's a bit of a paradox. But you'll know what I mean when you get there. So,
okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I guess if you know what scenes he's talking about, comment below because I'm really curious to see if people get it. So, how do you hope your work changes readers' lives?
So, when I was younger, books made me feel inspired. They made me feel inspired. They made me feel safe, and they touched me down to the very heart and soul. And if I could do for people that read my books a fraction of what those other books did for me when I was growing up, I have done my job. I have done the great labor of my life. That's the way I look at it. If you all feel inspired, if you all feel warm when you think of these characters and the journeys they've gone upon, if you're touched by their ups and downs, then and you take that with you when you go through your day to day, and it forms like a little torch in your chest to know that there's a little bit of brightness shared between us all in our art, then that's what I want you to walk away with.
I love that.
Thank
Really,
you.
really well put. I like that a lot. So I
Oh
guess
my
on that
goodness.
vein, when someone says that your book changed them, what do you hope that they mean?
I hope that you feel more fulfilled and you're inspired to take on life just as the characters in my books do. Life is hard. It's full of challenges that one can overcome with mindfulness, with standing up for oneself, with hard work, with found family or blood family, and sometimes by making sure the toxic people in your life are out of it one way or another. And these are the lessons that my books teach. Because, my books are pulpy, they're about wizards and monsters and punching things. But at the end of the day, they're about bonds with each other, they're about actualization of the self, and they're about making sure that those that surround you are those that grow with you and help you grow as well. And if you can say that any of my books changed you to take that on as part of your life path, then again, my job is done.
I love that. And I agree with you completely. I think that every good story has layers to it. And on
Hmm.
the surface, it's just a fun story. You can
Hmm.
punch monsters and be a wizard and have that fun adventure. There are layers to it, and it's a vehicle to heal a part of you and
Hmm.
grow a part of you. And I always say that every book has a soul. Every book
Yeah.
needs a soul. And that's what I look for even before I start writing one of my books is what am I trying to say with this book? What is the soul of the story?
Oh, wow. That is a great way to put it. I'm going to write that down. And yeah, I think that's very, very true. At the end of the day, like a story might be on the surface just about action, just about adventure, or, a fluffy or racy or dark romance or anything of the sort. But there is always going to be something from us going into the book and something that meets what the reader brings with them when they engage in the story. And even if you're writing like the most like shit simple story in the world, as I call it, like if your main character is punching wizards and that's basically it, what sort of wizard are they punching? Why is this guy being punched? And even that says a lot right there. Yeah.
So, tell us where we can find all of your books. Where can we give you money? How can we support you?
Alrighty. So, for most of my books, for Rune Seeker, Oaths, and for Mark of the Fool, you can find them on Amazon. You can find the light novel version of Mark of the Fool in any bookstore in like the North American continent, Barnes and Noble, Indigo if you're in Canada. You can get them just about anywhere from there. Rune Seeker is actually coming to bookstores in its full form early next year. And you can also find all of my books aside from that on Amazon and on Audible. Eventually, except with the one exception, I Am Become Death can be found on Patreon and Royal Road.
Right.
And that's going to be published sometime next year. And then there's one more thing. Oh, yes. There is a webtoon in the works for Mark of the Fool. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Super excited about
exciting. Oh
that.
my God.
Yeah. So that one's going to be on, well, the aptly named webtoon, and the sometime next year as well. And yeah, that's just about. God, I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else. Oh, there might be one more place you can find something, but I can't exactly reveal what it is
Oh,
quite
you
yet.
tease.
I am teasing.
Mean.
Yes, just a little
Mean.
bit. Just a little bit.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, is there anything else that you want everyone to know before we wrap up?
The one thing I can tell you is take care of yourselves. Seriously, there is only one of you. I pushed myself to hell and back to finish Mark of the Fool, 10 books in 3 years, and I worked really hard on editing it and stuff like that. So it was many, 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 many hours, and I did not take care of myself, which is something I am now still recovering from. I'm a lot better, but there were some health scares in there. So that's taught me that whatever your goal, you have to remember you have one body, you have one mind, and you have one soul. And if any of those fall apart, you have nothing else. So take
Yeah.
care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and go through life with one foot in front of the other.
I love that. What a great message to end on.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
JM Clarke, please leave a comment below about how amazing he is. And I will talk to you later, man.
Awesome. All right, see you later.
Okay, that was JM Clarke. Seriously, if you haven't checked out Mark of the Fool or his other series yet, scoot on over to Amazon now. It's available on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and Audible. And with Travis Baldry's narration, I mean, he just brings these characters to life in the best way. And if you loved hearing from Jay today, make sure you're following him for updates on all of his series, as well as, and in particularly, his new Oaths, Blood, and Coin series. I'll include all the links below so that you can go check him out, join his Discord, and head over to his Patreon to support him. Now, if this interview helped you discover your next book obsession, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from me. And if you don't mind, please give this video a like if you're adding any of Jay's books to your TBR. I want to see those notifications lighting up because I know you're going to love his work. Your next video is popping up right here with more book recommendations and author insights. Until next time, darling, happy reading, and remember, the best stories are the ones that speak to your soul.